I really enjoyed watching you all die.
Hello and welcome to Achievement Hunting 101. I'm FuFuCuddilyPoof and this is level 239. Joining me tonight is Vulgar Latin.
I'm not Big L. He had diarrhea.
Continuing the jokes. KooshMoose.
Well, hello. I'm explosive to be here.
And Matrarch.
Hi. I have nothing. Oh, it's nice to actually record on a week when Elle isn't
Instantly
here.
regretting
I feel like I can, state my own opinions, and no, I could feel better. Elle.
And do
You'll
we
be
have
your own
any
person.
Do we have any major leaks that we need to cover?
Depends.
It's pretty crappy that he wasn't here with us.
He's had a good run.
Definitely stinks. Immediate regret. That is the sound of regret.
And if there's something I know how to do, it's disappoint a lady. Wait.
That sounds incredibly sad. And that sounds like something that should be talked out, but definitely not on this podcast. We're not here for that. We don't do the therapy thing. Instead, we talk about video games. So let's jump into this week's topic. And this one was actually asked by you, Devin. So why don't you go ahead and ask the question for everyone?
All right. So, I want to know what you think is the best free-to-play or Gamepass game that isn't Rocket League on the Xbox ecosystem.
Got him.
It's not going to stop him. You know it's not going to stop him.
It did stop him.
Okay.
Dead in his tracks.
I think editing did that, but...
Whenever MGP answers a question, I just need to put some Rocket League sounds in the background. All right, but Nate, why don't we go to you first?
First-time listener, or long-time listener, first-time caller, Big L says, not having Among Us as an answer seems sus. Yes. GT3 option
Fair.
fan. No one knows what that option fan stands for. Since there are so many games that fall under this umbrella, I'll pick a handful of must-plays from Game Pass, in my opinion. Forza Horizon 4 and 5, It Takes Two, Psychonauts 2, Batman Arkham Knight, and Skyrim. Too hard to pick just one. And Freem Holio says, Marvel Snap. It boots up faster than Game Pass Cloud, takes less time to play a match, so you are sitting on the toilet for much less time, earning 0 achievements.
Great game.
See, now
though.
that's how you sell a game.
Now, I guess it's my turn. I didn't want to go the Game Pass route because that's a lot to think about, and that's analysis paralysis. So I limited myself to free games, not necessarily free to play, but free games on the Xbox ecosystem. And if you know anything about me, this kind of makes sense, I think, in retrospect. The best game right now, as of this moment, on my brain, and it could change to 5, is Space Jam: A New Legacy, the game. This was a free movie tie-in beat 'em up, basketball beat 'em up. That's awesome. So
that is a very good Nate answer.
Yes, this is like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles if they played basketball. And so I enjoyed this game. I haven't finished it. I obviously need to go back and spend more time on it. But this is just one of those awesome games. It's like, this is an era or, a relic from a time long ago where we would get games based off of movies for free and we could play them. And we actually get gamer score for this. So I'm super happy. Normally this would come in like a box of cereal. And you wipe off that disc, get all your Captain Crunch off there. And then insert that into your old PC. So yeah, that's my answer. Space Jam: New Legacy.
Good answer.
I forgot that game even existed.
Forgot that movie existed.
Now I really want
too.
a Captain Crunch game. Like, that needs to happen, I feel.
The problem with it, nowadays, if they did give away a game, it'll have like some QR code to like take you to just, like some crappy mobile game.
Yeah.
Apparently, Captain Crunch's Crunchling Adventure was released on Windows as well as Mac, and was an action game.
Wow.
I am going to have to go find that. We'll talk to you guys later.
Well, you know what the game showcase for Nate is next week?
That's funny.
So, GT3 Option Fan recommended Forza Horizon 4 and 5, or talking about Forza 4 and 5. Good answer. That's time and time again, that's what I always say about is the beauty of Game Pass. I never would have played those games, and I've put a lot of time into them because of Game Pass. Definitely recommend both of them. I also find it interesting that he says Arkham Knight, as a lot of people like to talk about how that's the weakest in the series outside of Origins.
Okay, I was going to say. It's like, wow, hey, wait a minute. Blackgate also exists.
Well, of the three mainline Arkham games. And that's not me knocking Knight. Knight is fantastic. It is a great game. It's just the weakest of the three.
It's solid. I love that game.
Oh, it's so good.
Any one of those stands, any one of them just stands by itself. It is a great game.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Michelle next.
Sure. So Dino Bull says that free-to-play wise, he would definitely choose Brawlhalla. It's the best Smash clone I've played. They are always updating the roster levels, and the weapon system is unique enough to make it not just a blatant copy of Smash. Have any of you guys played Brawlhalla? You have any thoughts on that one?
Yeah,
I have not.
I really liked it. I just hated that they wanted to charge me like $30 for a Macho Man Randy Savage skin.
Oh no!
Because they have different skins that you know, rotate with the characters. So I wanted the Macho Man. Couldn't have it.
This is as opposed to Hawkeye Berry's free game pick, which was Fall Guys, which I think I know it had wrestling skins
Great
for
pick.
$10, but I know Undertaker was one of them. I don't think Macho Man was
I have
one.
them.
Was Macho Man one? I
Yeah.
don't remember.
No, Xavier Woods and Asuka were the other two.
Okay.
I have no idea who
But
they
it
are.
was $10, not $30, and that's a big difference in terms of price point, obviously. And Hawkeye Berry also added that the best game on Game Pass is Gears of War 3. So I like that choice. I'm all for Gears being on there. And then Wild West 08 answers that my favorite free-to-play game right now is Halo Infinite Multiplayer. It has improved a lot since launch, just needs some more maps and modes. And I think that's
not a bad answer.
This was such an interesting question because, especially throwing in the Game Pass portion of it, there's just so much to just what Koosh said. There's like that analysis paralysis that comes with, well, let me look at everything that I have access
so
to.
Much.
And it's crazy. And actually, I was looking through the free game list too, and Space Jam crossed my mind as something to pick too, Koosh. So I like that pick as well.
I was also tempted by the Final Fantasy Knights.
A Kingslayer.
Also a Kingslayer. There you go. Yeah, the beat 'em up.
Mm-hmm.
That was not bad either.
Yeah, I've heard that was pretty good. But I tried to pick one from each lane. Now, of course, if you ever ask me, what's the best free game on Xbox? I know it's not currently in the ecosystem and never will be again, but there's no better answer than 1 vs. 100. That was the best free game
100%
that was
agree.
on Xbox ever, because of all the awesome things we've talked about it before. But that's not on Xbox, so I'm not going to...
If only...
belabor the point. But I do want to shout out another free game. I picked one free and one Game Pass that was an Xbox 360 era game that's still available freely, and that through backwards compatibility, and that's Doritos Crash Course, which was
Nice.
Oh, good pull.
Doritos ran a contest where they had people develop games and submit these game ideas, and they chose the top games to be released for free as part of an advertising campaign on Xbox 360. And the first round, I believe, was Crash Course in Harm's Way.
Dash Destruction.
Dash of Destruction. Okay.
Yep.
And they were all solid in their way. Like, I don't think any of them was a complete stinker. But
Nah.
Crash Course was really good. Crash Course is sort of like a Joe Danger style game where you have to race from the beginning to the end of a stage, and there are all sorts of obstacles in your way. If you're familiar with Wipeout, it's a similar sort of concept. And it's great. And it's free. And it's still available free. And you can get it on your Series or One or whatever else via backwards compatibility. So that is a full marks one for me. I know the 200 Gamerscore crowd might be upset about it, but it is awesome. And on the Game Pass side, once again, so many great choices. I definitely thought about like Halo Master Chief Collection. It's 6 games in one or whatever else. But I decided to put my answer behind Stardew Valley, which is
Nice.
a great game. It is available via cloud, and it has touch controls, so you can literally play it anywhere. And as long as you have a Game Pass subscription, you can play it any time that you would like. So that was an easy pick for me from the list, surprisingly.
So when you say touch controls, is it like you can like touch in your inventory like wherever as if it was a mobile game?
I
or is it
wish
touch controls
that's
like they
what
have
it meant.
the virtual controller?
Yeah, it's the virtual overlay of a controller.
Yeah.
So that's not ideal because it would be much easier to just pick the elements you're working from, of course. But the fact that you can pick it up and play the game on the go is just, it's a cool option to have. And it surprises me every time I see, more games than I realized were part of that particular process from Microsoft. So yes, would be much better if it was true touchscreen controls. But even just having that overlay makes it accessible.
Yeah, the overlay is nice, just not optimal.
Agreed.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and go next. P-Tart says, Vampire Survivors. Enough said.
I thought I said
Now, I know
best.
Devin absolutely agrees with that.
I said best. Best games. Not mid games.
Now, Vampire Survivors is very good with
It's okay to be
the
wrong.
controller overlay. That works well for Vampire Survivors.
It does. Ararturik said, for free-to-play games, of the ones I've played, I think Ben-Hur is the best. Sure, I only gave it a 1-star rating, but that's because it's my number one game.
I'm Ben Hur.
Tell me you don't play free games without telling me you don't play free games. And he says, okay, Neverwinter is my actual answer. I haven't played it a whole lot, but for the available content alone, it's fantastic, and I've enjoyed it whenever I've dipped into it. I don't know really anything about Neverwinter other than it's like some MMORPG. So
It's Dungeons and Dragons themed MMORPG.
I was just about to ask that if it was Dungeons and Dragons themed.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dinoman87 says either Knockout City or Fall Guys. Both are great party games whenever my friends and I hang out online. But if we could talk about free expansions, then Rock Band Rivals, who recently became free, is my go-to answer. Rock Band rocks. Great answer there. We'll allow it. Which also begs the question, why is Rock Band not free?
Licensing music's
music licensing.
expensive. Yeah.
That's true. That's true, but at the same time, like I feel like you would at this point you would just sell so much more DLC. I don't know.
I thought you were going to say you'd sell so much more copies, and I'd be like, yeah, it's free.
Well, no, not copies. You sell more DLC.
Like,
There was
As for me, when it comes to free to play games, go ahead, Michelle.
there was I'm probably misremembering this, but there was this karaoke game that existed on the Xbox 360 that I think sort of would work the way a free Rock Band model would work, where it had a very limited selection of songs that were just free to play, and then other songs would cycle in. I maybe I'm misremembering because it's another thing that's long since been discontinued. But yeah, like a Rock Band like that would be cool. But yeah, music licensing, they need to sell copies of the base game to recover, I'm sure.
What if they had like a Creative Commons Rock Band?
yeah, we just get all the public domain songs.
Yeah, we just get everything in the public domain. Yeah.
Oh, come on. You know you want to play some Crab Rave.
You and your friends get to play Pop Goes the Weasel.
Woo!
Happy Birthday can be included now. That's a big title update right there.
Oh, that's DLC
That's
for there.
huge.
Yeah. Have you ever wanted to play the Star Spangled Banner? Woo!
But yes, for my answers for a free-to-play game, I would go with Clicker Heroes. I love that game. I wish Clicker Heroes 2 would come to Xbox so I could play that and relive all the greatness of being able to just sit there and idly watch something. Just click away and attack the monsters. I love my stupid idle games. I have a couple on my phone that I've played. And then Game Pass, there's been a lot that has been thrown out already that I would typically say, but this time around, I want to go with Age of Empires 2.
Heck yeah.
Love that game to death. Absolute classic.
Classic.
And now that it's got the console port, everyone should play it. Because it's actually a pretty good port. A lot better than I thought it would be. All right, and now let's go to Devin.
All right. Scaravese says Minecraft. Yep.
Man of many words.
Yep. Yeah, there are many words. That's why he's the most descriptive man on the server. Mental Knight 5 says Alto's Adventure. Fun, little addictive, just one more run snowboarder. I know the platformer sports genre combo is getting stale, but it's one of the first and one of the best. So much fun with just one button, and when you get really good, two. And then he puts honorable mentions as Clicker Heroes and Cosmo Run, and dishonorable mentions as Totem Ball and Lions of Astaroth. Yeah, I didn't think Alto's Adventure, I didn't think much of it being based on some breath mints, but yeah, I hear great things.
It's very pretty. And very zen.
Someone's in the Discord's going to lie at you for Lies of Astaroth. I forget who it is that loves that game.
Not me. That game's... Ugh.
Maybe it was KT Echo? I don't know. Can't remember this.
I don't know. Someone went beast mode on it. That's all I know. I can't remember who.
I know.
Just was like, I'm getting it done. And they went beast mode and they got it done.
I know a Heizo got it done.
It might have been a Heizo. Yeah.
But, I don't know.
And Carpe Adams says, since the best free-to-play game, Rocket League, is off limits, I'll say Microsoft's Solitaire collection. There's good enough variety to keep it from getting stale, and it has lots of achievements, good ratio, and the convenience of playing on mobile or PC makes it the total package. Like Lex Luger. Yeah, no, Solitaire's great. I use it, I play it every single day on my phone so that I get my Game Pass quest. Right at 11 o'clock. Like clockwork. So yeah, I picked a couple as well. I did the free to play. I'm gonna go off the beaten path for the free to play and say World of Tanks. It's a very specific kind of game where you get to control tanks from all different eras, and I'm a fan of it.
The game looks cool.
It is in depth, and I used to play it a lot more on PC. I've played it some on computer. If I had more people that played it, I would love to be a tanker again, and just having the different roles and the different kind of rock, paper, scissors nature of it. It's a lot of fun. 15v15. And for main Game Pass, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to find something a lot better than the Mass Effect Legendary Collection, which has 3 out-and-out classic...
Good answer.
Classic games all smushed into one. There are far worse things you could do with your time than complete the Mass Effect Legendary trilogy.
And you could spend a lot of time in that.
At least 100 to 120 hours by some estimates for getting all the achievements. But who's counting?
That seems low.
If you
I feel like you could put more time in, or that would take longer.
I mean, if you did, you can spend more time on it, but really, if you just go for like what you need to go for, and the people that are doing this tend to be the people that knew what they were doing in the first place.
That's what I was going to say.
This is true.
Yep, these are the people who have already played it, and they're just going back for more.
It's been a while since I've played the Mass Effect series or looked at their lists, so I'm just kind of going off of memory.
So, like, yeah, it only took me to do 100% run on normal only about like It didn't take long at all. I did it in a couple days. So basically just getting everything. So the other games I can't imagine are that much longer.
I just assumed it was longer. I don't know. All right. Well, that was a fun question, Devin. I was saying, any other games to mention while we get going into the game showcase? So, I'm going to go first. It's funny that you mentioned Mass Effect, Devin, because I've been playing probably the best Mass Effect game, Mass Effect Andromeda. Like, I know it gets a lot of crap, but I think it's the best out of the series.
Now that's a hot take.
I don't see it. I think the story's really good. The characters are great. I don't actually see what the problem here is.
Well, but you see, you didn't play it on launch. And because something didn't work at something that I wanted at launch, I have to hate it now forever. Even if it was fixed. And I have to harbor ill will towards people forever. Certainly, my opinion could change, but that would require nuance that I'm afraid as a gamer I cannot possess.
Now, honestly, I'm just joking. I have not played Mass Effect Andromeda. I just wanted to see if I can get you and Prue and the other Mass Effect fans riled up for a minute.
I don't know. I have no strong opinions.
I tried. No, the only thing I've been playing was just Beeline and Vampire Survivors to get that game done. And we've talked about that game plenty on the show, so there's no need to go further into that. I just wanted to try and mess with some people real fast. But with that, Michelle, what have you been playing?
So yeah, I'm similar in that I have not been playing a whole lot. I've definitely still been in kind of cleanup mode, trying to take care of things. And speaking of cleanup mode, one of the games I've been playing is Power Wash Simulator. And I know this is another game that we've talked to death. So I actually just want to focus really specifically on the challenge achievement in the game. So there are two. There's, let me take another little step back. In addition to the main campaign mode, there's a challenge mode where you have certain stages that you either have to beat in a certain amount of time or by using under a certain amount of water. And there are achievements for getting a gold on 1 and getting a gold in 5. Now, Devin, I know you could speak a little bit more to this than I can, but for the longest time, there was a glitch or workaround or something like that where you could do something on the Xbox Ones, the VCR boxes.
You could cheat it, yeah.
How did that work?
Basically, you could save your progress. So what you would do is you would start the challenge. You'd get to like 99% done. So I had it so that the van was just like the back window. That's all I needed. And then you could save it. And then you reloaded the save. And you would have all your progress, but the timer would start over. So you would just be like, okay, spray this one last part. And then like, yeah, I absolutely destroyed those times. You ever see me power wash a minivan in 10 seconds?
Okay.
Woo. And that's why you're paid the big bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently, with the release of the Tomb Raider content, this tactic doesn't quite work anymore. I read a comment on one of the solutions that said it might work on Xbox One S's. But essentially, there was a save icon, like a little floppy disk that used to show up at certain points, and you would basically look for that, and that's when you would bail and be able to reload your save. But that doesn't happen anymore. So you can't cheat it, or you can't cheat it in as many ways as you can. So I was like, let me give it a try, and I'm just here to tell you, it is doable. If I got it done, if you're interested in getting it done,
now that's good news.
You can get it done. As we're an achievement-focused podcast, I will just let you know what I did for it. Again, there are time and water-based levels. The only water-based one where you have to do an under certain amount of water I did was the van. Otherwise, I got the time requirement on the dirt bike and on the van and on the golf cart and on the bungalow. And most of these things, I promise you, when you get in there, you're going to do your first run and see that you have 90 seconds to finish it, and you're going to time out, like not even get the bronze. You're just going to run out of time totally, and you're going to think, how am I ever going to do this? I didn't actually consult videos myself because I'm very stubborn, but there are videos online. People definitely have strategies that you can use, and if you just play through enough, you'll be fine. My big suggestion off the top is as soon as the level's about to start, while it's counting down, just hit your bumper. Make sure you selected the yellow nozzle. That's really the best for just about everything. And then just go get things done. Don't be afraid by the longer level stages because they have 25-minute times instead of 5 minutes or less, because that time actually gives you more flexibility. I promise you it's doable. For most of you, this is going to be the last achievement you get, but it's well worth it. It's a nice completion to have, and I'm very satisfied to be done with the game and also looking forward to the Final Fantasy content, because that's the only way we're going to see Final Fantasy VII Remake content on the Xbox. So I am looking forward to playing that on March 2nd, whether or not there are achievements. I finished all the Tomb Raider content too, so I'm ready for more.
How long did it take you to clean up Lara's mansion?
I don't know. I played through it maybe over the course of like 3 or 4 play sessions. So maybe it took 4 to 6 hours, but I'm not particularly in a rush. The Tomb Raider content has the exterior of the mansion, an obstacle course, 2 vehicles, a maze, like a hedge maze where there are certain effects within it you have to clean, and the sort of museum room, which is the final level. So there's plenty of content in there, and it's a shame there's no achievement, which means that most people won't check it out. But it's still Power Wash Sim. It's relaxing in its way, and it's fun to see the video at the end when they do the stop motion, like speed up version of
time lapse.
Yes, time lapse. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
I think I might re-download this game just so I can see the Tomb Raider DLC.
Yeah, it was cool.
I'm not going to clean it up. I just want to run through it.
And it's free.
Like, the mansion has to look better on Power Wash than it does on anything in PS1.
Well, in Power Wash, you're only dealing with the mansion exterior. Like, the only thing in the mansion is the museum room, but you only deal with the exterior of the mansion. Everything else is outside. So if you're looking to get in there,
just look at it.
That's fair.
Can I hit the poor butler with the power wash gun? Because I used to shoot him all the time when Tomb Raider 2.
No, but
100%.
If you when you're playing Power Wash as it would with the campaign, you get the sort of messages of what's happening, and it's the butler that's actually asked you to come in and wash the stuff, and is like sending messages back to Lara about the work that you're doing, and then relaying that she wants you to clean further things.
All right. Well, if that's the end for that, Nate, what game have you been playing?
Oh, well, I've been wanting to play more Hogwarts, but all these server shutdowns I've been talking about just keep happening, and they keep forcing my hand, and I have been playing one for a little bit, and that's Knockout City. Now, Knockout City is a dodgeball game, if you don't know anything about it, and it's actually pretty fun. I'm kind of sad that we didn't get into it right away. And I know it was a paid game initially, and then it opened up and became free to play, I think like a year after, something like that. Don't charge, don't challenge me on the times. It's just, it's a loose history of what happened. Now the game is going away in June of this year, June 6th. And so there's not a whole lot of pressure right now to get it done because there is so much time. But because of everything else, I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm going to start working on it now. There are a couple things that are kind of long and grindy to get done. So I figured, okay, I'm doing it now. I'm going to make a big dent, and I'll just chip away at the really grindy stuff until June. The game is fun. It's got a whole bunch of different modes. You can play 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. I think there's a 4v4 mode. And then there's very distinct levels. Some of them are good. Some of them are bad. There's like, for instance, there's one level where you can jump on little UFOs and fly around this kind of farm themed circular level. And when you're on the UFO, you just move at a constant speed, at a constant altitude. You can't move up or down. And you can always jump off that and play like normal, but they're very creative with their levels. And then there are unique balls. So you have like a boomerang ball, where once you hit an enemy, the ball will kind of boomerang back to you. And if you don't catch it, it'll knock you back. There's bombs and soda bombs and gas bombs and just bombs, and footballs. And then there's a pinball ball. So you have like 3 balls, and it makes that cool pinball sound when you walk to it. Oh my gosh. The pinball or the dodgeball sound. You know that pum, that sound, just that sound, the dodgeball sound.
Yeah.
They nail that. And I just love that sound. And they really nail that one. I know it's not hard to do, but it makes me happy.
You got to have that sound.
Yeah. Now, it seems pretty basic when you think about it. Oh, I'm just playing dodgeball. But they have found a way to add layers. They have a paper, rock, scissors kind of mechanic, in that you can... it really gets kind of intense when you're playing dodgeball. You can throw a low-powered ball, and when someone catches it, they'll get a power-up on that ball, which then allows them to throw faster. So you see people kind of like throwing high-powered balls, and then catching them and then throwing them back. And then every now and then you see someone with like an off-speed throw to kind of throw you off. Then there are curve shots that can go around corners, kind of follow you. There's lob shots. You can also do like fakes. You can do a fake out, a pump fake with the balls to kind of throw people off. And if you see them catch, there's like a little stun delay when you go to catch. So if you can get someone to bite on a fake, you can then whiz the ball right at them and hopefully get, take one of their health bars off. In the normal modes, you get 2 health bars. So you get hit once, you're kind of like on your last life there. And then you get hit again, you're out. That's a point. Games are typically to 10. A 1v1 game, I think, is to 3. I can't really remember the specifics there. There's a lot of stuff to do. When you log in, there are daily challenges. There's an achievement tied to that for doing 100 of those. So you are going to have to play for over a month to get that. You're not always going to get them unless you're really, really good at the game.
Start now.
Yeah, so start now. If this is interesting to you at all, you'd want to be chipping away at that. You can always buy a challenge that you aren't able to complete. You can spend a little bit of hollow bucks on it and complete that challenge, and then you don't have to worry about the skill gap. Before, they had a lot of paid content, so you could have gotten like the Turtles pack. So you can play as the Turtles, or have the Turtles bus.
That's awesome.
Yeah, have the Turtle bus be your vehicle that drops you off at the beginning of the match and stuff like that. Or you can have like turtle themed taunts and gear. So that's pretty cool, but that is going away, and they have a kind of a shutdown date for all that stuff, and that is February 28th. So this month, 1 week from today of recording, Season 9 is going to start. And with that, they're going to make the game a little bit better for people who want to get the most out of it. So number one, they're going to remove real money transactions. So if for some crazy reason you want to buy the Turtles stuff, you have to do that now, because that's a real money transaction.
How much we talking about on the Turtles?
Yeah, you have until the 28th to do that. You have to do that. On the 28th, they take away the real money transactions. You won't be able to purchase Hollow Bucks, the Deluxe Bundle, or the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle bundles. Every event that they're going to do at that point. So Season 9 is going to be a whole bunch, I think it's back-to-back events, like 7 back-to-back events. And all of those events are going to be packed with rewards for experience, style chips, which allow you to change your outfits, Hollow Bucks, which allow you to buy a whole bunch of different things. And they're going to open a new sale shop, and everything's going to be on drastic discount for just about every cosmetic they've ever had. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if that's going to include the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff. Probably not, but who knows? They're also going to increase the rewards for League Play, for daily logins, and for the Brawl Pass. And the premium Brawl Pass will only be 50 Hollow Bucks. That is very easy to do. You can get that from one challenge. So they're basically giving away all the Brawl Pass content. That is good news for people who want all the achievements, because there are achievements tied to having certain outfits, winning a match with legendary level equipment. And normally that stuff you'd have to play for a while to get far enough to get the free ones, or to complete a challenge that would allow you to do that based off of an event. So yeah, there's a lot to this game. If it all sounds interesting, you need to start pretty soon. You're not going to be able to be carried, as far as I can tell. So if you're worried about that,
sorry, El.
Yeah, if you're worried about like, am I good enough for this game? You're going to have to be good enough, or you're going to have to know people that are really good, and kind of carry you to a win. There's some achievements that are just difficult, like completing, I think it's 10 matches. Yeah, 10 matches where you win by 5 times the opponent's score. Well, the matches go to 10 points, so you have to shut them out to 2. If they get a third point, that doesn't count towards your achievement. Another kind of draw against the game is there's no achievement tracking, at least not on the Xbox achievement trackers. They do have internal challenges, so you can see, how you're progressing towards like these milestones, like 1,000 catches or 1,000 KOs. You can see your percentage on the challenges, but not on the achievement tracker. But the game, it looks great. The animations
really does.
The animations are great. The losing and the winning animations that they have are very creative. It's a really cool game, and I'm kind of sad that this and Rumbleverse both have kind of the same art style. They both have really cool animations, and they're just fun games. And it's a shame that it takes these server shutdowns for me to get around to play them. But I would never stick with these games anyway, right? Because this type of game of this, game as a service that you're going to keep playing forever and forever, just not going to happen. So I kind of, it's a double-edged sword. Like, it takes me a long time to get to these things, but when I get to them, I realize that they're good, but I never would have played them the whole time anyway. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm chipping away at, is this Knockout City. You're going to have to get in a crew, and because you need to win 5 matches with crewmates, you're going to have to earn 30 crew contracts. So you can only get so many of those a week. So you're going to have to be in a crew that's fairly active to get them all. And then, you have to get 100 contracts. You also have to get 100 daily contracts. So you're going to chip away at this. You're not going to get this done in one weekend. That's not going to happen. There is a way to boost. I have not yet done it, but I just learned, and maybe some people don't know this, that's fine, is that you can limit the Xbox to crossplay, or, prevent it from doing crossplay at the system level. So
that's nice.
Yeah. So there is a setting. Yeah, there's a setting in the Xbox privacy that allows you to limit that. So before, I had always limited crossplay through the options within the games themselves. This game does not have that option, so you have to do it at the system level. So I ended up learning that through some helpful people on the Discord who in no way made fun of me for not knowing that. So that was a fun thing that I learned. And that is something that you could do to help limit the player level. People that are playing on PC are insanely good when they're good.
Naturally.
Yeah. And so the Xbox players, it kind of lowers the skill level, the skill cap, and gives you a better chance. And it also seems like you can do that to limit yourself on daily challenges, because not a lot of people do the daily playlists. You can then have a really good chance of competing against bots, and the bots are nowhere near as good as people. So that helps you with some of your challenges, like catches. You can just let that bot throw at you, and they're not very good, so you have a better chance of catching. So things like that. Hopefully, in the next week or so, we'll see more people in the community kind of get together and kind of start working on these things once the XP gains are boosted. And right now it's just like, okay, just keep your dailies going. Don't worry about grinding XP, because it's going to be so much easier, we hope, after season 9 starts. So there you go.
So I have a question about that.
Yes.
I see that there's a couple of achievements tied to XP, specifically the biggest one being 250,000. I'm sorry if you mentioned this before and I didn't catch it, but did they say how much of a boost they're given to XP?
They said significant. No, they didn't give a number. They said it's going to be drastically increased and such. Just to let you know, I've been playing kind of off and on, not hardcore, but a couple hours for sure. Let me see if it keeps track of my time. It says I've played for 19 hours. Now, I haven't been playing that entire time. But I'm currently level 63. I earned the 100,000 XP. The highest achievement you have to get for XP is 250,000. So I'm, probably halfway there. And when this boost kicks in, I'm like 3/4 of the way there, something like that. Math's hard.
So that's really not even that much of a grind.
So it's not going to be that much of a grind with these XP boosts. There are also there are drinks you can drink to kind of increase your XP for a couple hours, and I think all that stuff's going to multiply over their other things. So yeah. So if you want to worry about those XP things, that's not going to be the grind. The grind is going to be the wins, the KOs, the catches, and some of the skill based stuff that you have to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to check this out. I dove it as part of the what have yous. So yeah, I'm definitely interested. But yeah, when I heard you guys talk about the significant gains, I kind of held off because I was like, I might as well start when they do, make it abundant, right?
If you've already got it on your tag, just go for it. There's a lot of stuff you can get for not too much effort. And it's fun. And if we can get enough people in there, it'll be really fun to laugh at people missing the ball and falling off the level. There's a lot of opportunity for ridicule.
Oh, well,
One
sign
other
me
question. One other question. Is this the game where you have to have your EA account logged into it?
I don't know about have to. I don't remember the sign up process. There could be like an EA. It's not EA though. It's Velen Studios.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at TA, and I saw that it was Velen Studios, but I could have swore this was the game that we went to try to play before a live panel.
Oh, yep.
Last year or something like that.
On TA, it says Knockout City going free to play, dropping EA as publisher.
Well, there you go.
Ooh, maybe I can get into this because I can't get into my EA account. So
I don't remember having to sign up for anything, but I also don't have a problem with EA. So
lucky
I probably got in there at some point with that. But yeah, I mean, if you don't care about completions and you just want to get in there and there's enough people doing stuff and you want to be a part of it, go for it. Check it out.
Yeah, I don't care if I get the completions. Just jump in with the friends, play because it looks like it's fun.
It is very fun. There's just something about throwing a curveball and just having it whip around a corner that it shouldn't be able to, total 90-degree whipping around that corner and just hitting somebody and just hear that boom sound. It's just something about that.
All right. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about with Knockout City? All right. Well, in that case, let's go to Devin with his game.
Yeah. Fashion Police Squad. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this, but it came out just this month, and how I found out about it was I watched somebody speedrun this game on GDQ. Fashion Police Squad is a game that looks like it has a Doom-style graphics, but it has more verticality to it, and you play as the fashion police, and you have to serve out justice against people who are committing various fashion crimes. So some of the first enemies you meet are people that are wearing dull suits, and so you have to give them some more color. Well, how do you do that? Well, you use your gun, the to die for, and you shoot them with the color. And then there's somebody that has too much neon, so you suck out the neon so they have much more balanced color. Or loose-fitting suits, or socks with sandals. And it's the commitment to the bit is real. You'll run into Karens and potato sacks, and you have to. You can use your belt of justice on a guy that has loose-fitting pants. So a lot of the first-person shooter aspects of it are knowing which weapon to use, because if you try to use a weapon like the die and they're in a loose-fitting suit, it won't work. You have to use the right ones, and so it's about picking the right weapon for the time. to survive in the arenas. And then a lot of verticality, because that belt that I was talking about is off to the side. You can use it to whip onto elements so that you can grapple and get up and over things. And so you can kind of whip around and move really fast as part of the grapple hook, which adds a nice bit of verticality to the levels. So far, the achievements look fairly straightforward. It's a game that's been on Steam, so there's no TA guides. This is very, not a lot of people have bought this and played it on TA. But I was looking on Steam. You can do it. It's going to look like you have to get all of the swag. So there's various parts of swag that you can use to pick up armor. You have to find all of that. You have to mete out all the justice to everybody. And then there's also hidden secrets, because it's a game that's very much like a Doom or a Quake, especially in the graphic style, to where the sprites are all, it's in a 3D world, but the sprites are all 2D basically, and you don't rotate around them. It's funny too. The whole Fashion Police Squad is FPS. It's a first person shooter. Your first boss is a guy named Hugo Boss, which I appreciated the pun. The pun game is strong in this one. And
okay, I like that.
It's on theme too. And yeah, as I've been unlocking it, I unlocked upgrades to the weapons. You can wear different outfits. So I wore a tactical gear, which increases health and stuff. It's funny. It has a lot of challenge maps. It looks like they challenge, one had 2 specific enemy types where you had to constantly switch between weapons and try to balance that out. I would highly recommend it. I think especially if it goes on sale. Right now it's $20, which seems a little high. I'd certainly recommend watching the speedrun. The speedrun was very entertaining and sold me on the game almost immediately. But definitely check it out. Like I said, the achievement front looks like it's going to be a lot of just complete the levels completely, find everything, get story progression. I had to fab slap the fashion sense into people. So as you fight, your fashion sense increases, and then you can unleash it as a super move where you just smack people silly to smack some sense into them so they change their ways. And I had to do that on 25 enemies.
This looks like the right kind of dumb.
It is. That is a great way of putting it. And a lot of random stuff. I know there's one level has a golf ball. You have to hit the golf ball into the hole. That kind of stuff. Nothing terrible. Looks like a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. Looks like it'll be more fun as I keep going through it if they keep the ingenuity and the fun writing and everything on point. Plus, I just like these old style first-person shooters. Yeah, it's fair.
Well, it's got a 4.12 on TA right now.
Yeah, but
very good rating.
Low player base. I would love to see that go up. 3 people have completed it, but only 212 people have started it. So it's not exactly not a lot of
price point.
Yeah, well, it's still very new. This would be a great Game Pass game if it ever came to that. I think it would go swimmingly there.
So Devin, have
Fashion Police Squad
looked at the list? Before I ask any specific questions, I don't know if you're not looking at it to try to just go through and just enjoy the game as is.
I've looked at it, but the descriptions don't give you really any sort of thing. So I had to look it up on Steam. So I looked up on Steam kind of basically what they're looking for. Okay. I have some ideas of what they would be, but I don't I know that 10s across the board is one 10-10-10s where you have to, that's maxing out everything, but I didn't look specifically what they meant. There's a level select on every level, so you can't actually miss anything. So I'm more interested in just kind of playing through and experiencing it.
That was actually getting right to the question I had. Was I see there's one for collecting all the secret posters. So I was wondering if that's something you've come across, if you could, what should you look out for? Or as you already said, you can restart a level and pick it up if you need to.
Yeah, so they're if you've played like a Doom or a Duke Nukem, there's just, you can get to hidden places, and especially with when they add the belt, you can swing to places that it seems like you probably shouldn't get to, and you'll encounter pictures of the main character Desmond in various silly outfits. Like there's one where he's dressed up in the blue steel outfit from Zoolander.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of different, like, and he's like, who keeps putting these up? And like, he keeps thinking they're vandalizing him. And you can, that's basically the main collectible. Those are the secret posters. I've found a few on my own, but they look like some of them are in kind of specific places. So a video or something of the sort would probably not go amiss. And I'm fairly positive that something like that's already on Steam. It's just the low player count on Xbox is what's kind of hampering us here.
Right.
I love their own snark. Solve the only puzzle in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't take a lot of thought.
Like, you have a main character in it named Deep Coat who keeps giving you information about the bad guys. The puns. Just the glorious puns.
All right, the dumb humor is making me want to play it.
Yeah. Like I said, the biggest problem with it, the reason why I think that most people won't pick it up is $20. And that's kind of a big ask. I think it's worth the $20, but if it goes on sale for $10, if it ever comes onto Game Pass, like I said, this is the kind of weird, oddly specific thing that I could see coming to Game Pass at some point. It'd be worth it.
It is published by No More Robots. That's Soccer Story, Let's Build a Zoo, Nowhere Profit, Descenders. This is a good chance.
Yes, Your Grace. It's got a chance to come to Game Pass.
And yeah, worth it. And I think I want to get more trailblazing done on it before it does, and get those sweet, sweet ratios.
I will also point out one achievement. It looks like you just open the game and unlock an achievement, so completionists beware, I guess.
Yeah, open the game for the first time. That's one. Yeah, like you'll get a lot very quickly.
It doesn't look that difficult.
Yeah, the stuff that I've gotten thus far has not been particularly tough. A lot of story progression, that kind of thing. And it looks like more first-person platforming is going to be on the way. But worth it. Really fun. I've had a lot of fun with my time with Fashion Police Squad.
Cool. All right. Well, in that case, since that game's a little bit expensive, let's get into some things that are on sale. So I'm going to start. First game I'm going to recommend is Dreamfall Chapters. Now, this is an adventure point-and-click game for $3. Now, I am not necessarily recommending this because I don't like point-and-clicks. It's not necessarily my thing. But it is typically a $20 game, and it's $3 now. And Waka actually did a game club game for this. And that's available on our YouTube channel if you want to go back through and listen to that. $3, that's real cheap for a game. So you can go through, play it, listen to his commentary, and a couple others that were involved in that, whose names I forget. I'm sorry. And then another, bundle that I want to recommend. And quite honestly, I've never played these games. I just heard of them before recording. The names just kind of sparked my curiosity. It's the Space Raiders in Space. That's mainly the game that I'm interested in. It's a roguelike. It doesn't have a whole lot of players right now. It has 126 starters. 3 of them have given it a 5-star. Usually $17. It's $5.94 right now. So that seems interesting. Or you can get the Space Raiders in Space plus Clumsy Rush bundle. And Clumsy Rush is a party game that is typically $13. It is $3.24 right now. So you can buy those games separately, or you can get them together for $6.49. Seems like a pretty good deal. Like I said, I don't know much about either of those games. They just look kind of interesting.
I've played Clumsy Rush. It's... Of the games I've played, it's certainly one of them.
It's dollar store Fall Guys, right?
Yeah. It's the Fall Guys we have at home.
I mean, it's a 1 to 2 hour completion, so I can't speak to the achievements. The way you're talking about, it seems like it's a couch co-op only type game. Plug in a couple controllers, sit down for an hour, get the achievement, get 1,000 gamer score.
Yeah, that's about right.
And to go along with that, it's got a 1.83 rating on TA. So yeah, everybody agrees with your sentiment. But what do you want to recommend, Nate?
Well, I am going to recommend Origami Shadow Edition, which is $3.74 down from $25. I'm recommending it on that price almost alone. I play a little bit of Origami 2 because it was on Game Pass, and I had to do it for a Game Pass quest. And I thought, hey, this is not bad. It is a stealth genre, so if you hate that, leave now. But $3.74 down from $25. That's a pretty good deal. It's a good looking game. Next up, 9 Monkeys of Shaolin. $3 down from $20. Also a pretty good discount. This is a beat 'em up, and it is the same developer as Redeemer Enhanced Edition, which I thought was just a gem in the rough. Is that the same? It's a really good diamond in the rough. Really good game that people just haven't played or whatever. If you're into like beat 'em ups and hack and slash, man, Redeemer Enhanced Edition is fantastic. And I played a little bit of 9 Monkeys of Shaolin. And while it's not exactly like Redeemer, it does seem like it's a really fun beat 'em up, or it's got that same kind of style to it. And finally, The Last Campfire, $3 down from $15. I wasn't going to recommend this again because I've told you about it a bajillion times. But then there was talk on the Discord about how good of a game it is for $3. This is puzzle adventure, 5 to 6 hours. We showcased it on level 110. 1,000 hour license. That was a fantastic title. Yeah, it's a great game. I mean, if you like some of the games I like, the very Nate games, the very, this is one of those. This is the type that I like to recommend, and I am recommending it again. The Last Campfire.
Yeah, I clicked on it. That is a very Nate game. We just need to make Nate a genre. All right. And Devin, what games would you like to recommend?
I would like to recommend, for the benefit of the Midnight Society, Metro. So the whole series, pick your poison. The Metro Redux Redo, I never know how to pronounce that word. Both Metro 2033 and Last Light is $6 as a bundle. Exodus and all of its DLC is $8. But if you want to skip all that noise, you can buy the whole lot, every single piece of Metro for $12, which is 80% off. Metro is a first-person shooter set in a post-apocalypse Russia. Very neat, very highly rated, a lot of monsters. Seems kind of spooky. Always wanted to get into it. Now I've completed the set, so I can look at it, imagine what it'd be like to play it, and then never do it. And you can too. And then I also recommended XCOM 2. Do you have the vague suspicion that math is a lie and statistics are out to get you? Have you ever wanted to test that out in unique and exciting ways? XCOM 2 is like $8, and that's everything. Do you want to get attached to people and then watch them die? You can.
Yeah, didn't you kill me?
No, the aliens killed you.
Yeah, the aliens, sure.
I just commanded you. If you would have shot better with your guile haircut, you would have killed the aliens. But here we are.
Man, I'm half blind. It's hard to aim.
You had a 90% chance. And you'll see what I mean when you play XCOM 2 for $8. Tactical alien action. It's great.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm sold.
You'll be cursing up and down about math.
I'm sold on trying to get Devin to stream it again with AH101 inspired troops. Those were good times.
But it's enough interest. Yeah, sure. That was fun.
It was fun.
I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed watching you all die.
It was fun.
Wow.
I feel like as it was with my Oregon Trail playthrough to see just how uncanny it was that our personalities actually matched the personalities we wound up having in the game. If I recall
Just
from your
so funny.
XCOM
Just having all
playthrough.
Yeah. And just like you'd all, because eventually you recruit everybody and then they just sort of pick a path, and I believe you became like a sniper, and that was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried my best to make everyone look as absolutely silly as possible. just because we were not a ragtag unit.
If only you could have imported
We need to try to find that
Chewie's.
stream and watch that again.
If only you could have imported Chewie's WWE characters into your XCOM game, it would have been perfection.
Oh man.
Oh, that would have been great. Yeah. Oh, but
Dude, those characters he makes are the best.
yeah, no, I'll see about it, because I've really enjoyed XCOM 2, even though I am a very bad commander. I don't know why you chose me to lead you. I know I'm bad. I'm making the best of what I got.
I feel attacked by that statement.
You all revived me. I was right here. That's all the story goes. You were like, and you're talking a big game about how we're a commander, and I'm like, I don't know. I want this job.
All right. But we also have at least one game available now for our Game Pass. I don't know why I said at least. There's only one game available now on Game Pass, and that is Atomic Hearts. It's a day one release, free to play, first person shooter. It's on cloud, console, and PC.
Got a thick skin
I'm very much
and an atomic heart.
I'm very much looking forward to jumping into this game now that I'm done with Vampire Survivors.
I started it.
It looks cool.
Yeah, I need more time with it before I make up any comments.
I will say it does seem like there's a good bit of glitches and whatnot on it, but I don't know if there's been a day one patch yet to fix them.
Yeah, as far as I've
heard
gotten
some mixed reviews.
As far as I've gotten, no glitches. I'm about half hour into it. That's that's saying something when you're like, no glitches in the first half hour. But we've heard that it's buggy, but it doesn't seem so bad to me right now.
It's a sad state of affairs when you need a day one patch for every game. You just expect there to be glitches. But we also have some other games coming to Game Pass. On February 28th, we have Merge and Blade for the cloud, console, and PC. This is the flavor commentary is experience an addictive puzzle and a massive auto battler in one game. The world's first puzzle auto battler game. Only your brain can save the world.
We're doomed.
Matrarch, have you looked at this? Have you seen this?
I read this.
TA has no information on this.
Yeah, I read the same description and went, ooh. But I don't know. I may just go in blind on the 28th and just download it and see what happens.
Okay, well, I guess I won't tell you anything then.
Yeah, don't.
Has Game Pass cornered the market with the and Blade games?
Yeah, I think so.
Got Mountain Blade.
Also have Soul Hackers 2 for cloud, console, and PC. It's a role-playing
Tampa
Turn-based.
Bay?
Turn-based,
not tower defense.
Context.
It's a 60-80 hour game. And it looks anime-ish. On March 2nd, we have F1 22, sim racing game, 25-30 hours on console and PC. And this is through the EA Play.
I'm actually
EA Cars.
kind of excited. I've watched a whole video talking about the progression of F1 games as they've moved on with Codemasters, and it kind of got me excited to try to play more of these and figure out more about what F1 is as a sport and try to play it on its own terms.
Well, let us know how that goes.
Probably poorly.
I don't know much about formula racing. I like drag racing more.
You're more of a natural racing kind of guy instead of using the formula?
On March 3rd, we also have Wo Long Fallen Dynasty coming to Cloud Console and PC, an action role-playing game. And apparently this is a day one game coming to Game Pass. But that's it for additions. And just as a reminder, we do have a couple of games leaving Game Pass. Alien Isolation, Octopath Traveler, Lightning Returns, Crown Trick, Dragon Ball Fighters, Far Changing Tides, Madden NFL 21. All those games are leaving at the end of the month. Get them while you can. Or complete them while you can.
Good luck. A lot of 100 hours in this.
I'm sure there's plenty of time to be able to complete all of those games in the rest of the month.
And their stacks.
Along with all the server closures.
and their stacks.
I believe in you guys. You can do it.
Speaking of which, how's everybody doing with BioShock?
I'm about halfway through the game.
I was so ahead of the curve, I managed to complete it several years ago.
I have a very good memory of it.
Good on you.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm hoping to actually finish the
BioShock is the game of the
remastered in the
month.
next week or so. And then we have to figure out where we're actually talking about it, because it's not going to be on the live show, I think. So probably be the second show, right, of the month? Kind of buys everyone a little extra time.
Yeah, probably.
Well, then you got to figure out what we're doing for merch.
It sounds like Atomic
We'll
Hearts
leave that up
is
to the
a
patrons.
viable option.
We'll start that discussion in the patron VIP room in Discord. See what everybody says. I would not mind it being Atomic Hearts. But yeah, I'm about halfway through BioShock Remastered. I'm enjoying it so far.
I think, I don't want to say too much, but I think if you played Atomic Heart after BioShock, you'd feel like you're still playing BioShock.
And is
I
that
could
a
see that.
problem?
At least from the trailers anyway.
But yeah, we'll
I
let the
think
patrons.
it might be.
We'll let the patrons decide what will be up next.
All right. Well, with that, let's get into Brad Camp. Take it away, Michelle.
All right, up first for completions, we have a new name that I've read anyway. Riazor? All right, well, welcome. I think, has anyone read this name before?
I have not.
I
All right,
don't
awesome.
recall.
Well, welcome. So we'll go with this and then get corrected later. Riazor has reached a new milestone of 200 completed games. EOJ has reached 700 completed games. Hey, one of the guys on the panel here, Vulgar Latin, he's reached 750 completed games. Congratulations, Devin. What did you reach 750 with?
Nothing good. Just kind of
Excellent
happened.
answer.
I think it was, Lost Snowmen, I think.
But definitely nothing good. You are
Sounds-
correct.
Yep, nothing good.
Yep. All right, moving on. MDP 73 and Kitty Skies have both reached 950 completed games. Mighty Mango has reached 1100 completed games, and Mental Knight 5 has reached 1700 completed games. Good job, guys.
In streaks, we have a bunch of 50-day achievement streakers. We have Ahizo, we have Death Dealers, Magic Monkey, we have Jay Black, we have MDP 73, probably playing Rocket League, Aftos 84, Ex Povos, also known as Kronos, Toad Style Venom. Johnny Delicious is currently at 200 days, Sadak with 550, Z Drunken Monkeys with 600, and Northern Lass with 900.
In Gamerscore, Wildwood Mike has hit 300,000. Mr. Gompers has hit 550,000. Chris Bud 20 has hit 600,000. Kawi Ninja Rider 7 has hit 850,000. Bomber 37 has hit 900,000. Mighty Mango has hit 1.6 million. And Magic Monkey has hit 1.8 million Gamerscore.
In the leaderboards, Jay Huns is in the top 5 of games played for Metroidvania. Sir Polygon is in the top 10 of the Georgia True Achievement leaderboard for Tower Defense. And Magic Monkey is in the top 100 of the True Achievement leaderboard. That's really good.
Wow. Good job, all. All right. I think that will do it for us this week. Thank you all for listening. As always, be sure to check us out on all the different socials and YouTube and Twitch and whatnot. All the links to all of that will be in the show notes. Most importantly, join the Discord, discord.io/AH101. Come be a part of the community. It is a great time. It's also a great way to slack off during work because you know you don't want to actually work while you're at work. And if you're able to, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/achievementhunting101. We thank everyone, all the patrons that are able to support us. They're the ones that allow us to continue making improvements to the show, running all the contests and stuff like that. Thank you all. But with that, class is dismissed. See you all next week.
Bye.
So long.
Bye-bye now.
Welcome back to the 19th episode of One List, Two List, Bad List, Good List, a segment where we take a look at the achievement list of a couple of games. One that is as low as a free game shutting down its servers, and another that is high as, well, a free game with cheevos. What exactly makes those lists good or bad? Well, that's what we will be discussing. This is One List, Two List, Bad List, Good List. I am Elroy OMJ, and I am joined today by an individual who is not Inigo Montoya, but rather is the one. But is he really the one? It's Neo21. How's it going, man?
Hey, Elroy. Glad to be on here. First time for me, so this will be interesting and fun.
Absolutely. So I have to ask, so being Neo, you know, it's the one, but there's a 21 after your name. So, like, Neo the 21?
Yeah, you know, I never really thought about that like that. But, yeah, I guess in the lore of the Matrix, which obviously, if you couldn't figure out, is probably pretty easy to figure out that's my favorite movie of all time. But if you wanted to, if you wanted to fit me into the lore, I guess you could say I am the 21st iteration of the anomaly, since there were multiple iterations in the movie as the Neo that we know.
So you're like 15. You're like 15 past the one that we watched.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so all right. So I must ask then. So what is your thoughts on you not being the one, but rather Agent Smith is the one?
If you are referring to the Matrix Resurrections, the most recent one, I have not actually watched it because I've heard it was god-awful.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm referring to the original. I don't even recognize the other one. But the original trilogy, and so for those of you that are wondering what am I talking about? There is this theory out there that Neo is not the one. And the whole time, Agent Smith is the one. And it's very compelling. And it's very interesting. So you need to go look up, I think it's called Film Theory or something like that. Film Theory, Matrix, the one or something. I don't know. You'll find it. And the guy breaks it down, and I'm just like, it was like that mind blown moment, you know. Like I was like, I never thought of it that way. And so, like, everyone's in on it. The Oracle's in on it because, you know, the Oracle tells Neo he's not the one. However, he tells everyone else, or she tells everyone else, that he is the one. And so by doing that, it basically sets the events in motion, and then it fools Mr. Agent Smith, who is the one, into uploading into the code at the very end, and that the deception is what allowed that to happen. It's a whole amazing argument. So.
Interesting. I've never heard that concept before, but I'll have to go check that out. That sounds fun. That sounds very. It reminds me of the ending to Mass Effect 3. There was a theory before they came out with the extended edition ending that Shepard was indoctrinated. So if you ever are interested in a really compelling alternate ending to Mass Effect 3, and I think it would have been a lot better than the ending we got, is the indoctrination theory.
I've never played a single minute of any of those.
Oh, that is my favorite video game franchise of all time. That hurts a little.
Yeah, sorry. I just, that one missed me. I don't know. I viewed that as kind of one of the older franchises that was more on the 360, and I kind of came in at the end of the 360 days. So.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah, so I missed a lot of that. I've never played a game of Halo, never played any of the Battlefields. I mean, there's a lot of these series out there that I've never played any of. So don't take it, Mass Effect, don't take it personally.
All right.
There's plenty of them out there that I've never played a single minute of. So
yeah, I guess I got a few big franchises that I've never played either. So I guess we're even.
We all have our blind spots. There's a lot of games out there. So
there are.
Why don't we just knock out 2 of them? That's transitional material.
Sounds good.
All right. So since this is 1 list, 2 list, bad list, good list, and not 1 list, 2 list, good list, bad list, we will do with the bad first. So I'm going to start us off with a bad game, one that I did not like the achievement list of. That's the basis for this. I will give you an opinion on the game, but it's mainly just looking at the achievement list. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, that's kind of what we're looking at. So the game is Just Die Already! ! So it's published by Curve Games, $15, 15 to 20 hour completion, 4600 TA, and a relatively new game, not too old, but have you played this wonderful masterpiece?
I think I've heard someone mention it on the podcast before, but no, I don't know anything about this game.
Okay, all right. Well, it's not a bad game. I'm not here to pile on the game. I've rather enjoyed it, to be honest. But it's kind of the gameplay. I call it a Black Knight game. And what I mean by that is, it's just a flesh wound, like with the Black Knight and Monty Python. Yeah. So that's kind of what this, I call them the Black Knight game. So another similar game that I actually liked better was Guts and Glory. Did you ever play that one?
I have not.
Okay, so that one it's kind of the same concept, except for using vehicles to get from point A to point B and similar concept. So, but basically you touch anything and limbs start falling off, like and blood starts shooting out, but you don't die from bleeding out normally. You just kind of keep going. I don't know, you may eventually, but the whole mechanics based on you losing limbs and such and so forth. So
okay.
That's kind of what this game is. So, like, for example, you can be reduced to just a pelvis with no head, no arms, no legs, and you can still walk around, hop around as a pelvis, or a head, or, definitely arms and legs are not needed. You can, and in fact, some areas you have to remove those limbs in order to get into that section of the game. So, anyway, so
okay.
The issue I had was with not the game, but the cheevo lists that they use for the game, because I feel like overall it just needed to be more incremental, and it could have been something enjoyable, and it would have made more semblance of what is needed to complete the game also, but more so just for the enjoyment factor, because to me a good achievement list really enhances a game, and this game could have been a lot better had they just put some effort into the achievements. So the achievements break down like this. So there's an achievement for basically just starting the game, which is getting out of the retirement home. You play as old people, so that's the whole premise of the game, is just die already. You're old, and they're killing off senior citizens in a variety of ways, and there's things called a bucket list. So there's all these things that you want to accomplish being an old person before you die, and so you want to get out of the retirement center to go achieve these goals, before you die, kind of a thing. So, okay. All right. So you get an achievement for getting out of the nursing home, which basically starts the game. It's kind of like a prologue, if you will, where you're going into it, and you kind of figure out that, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. I'm going to lose, everything's trying to kill me. And then once you get out in the real world, it's like an open world game. So the majority of the rest of the achievement, and there's also an achievement for dying a lot, and there's an achievement for getting X amount of limbs tore off. So there's two, being bad at the game achievements, and then one starting the game. The rest of them fall under like a vague umbrella achievement. So you have like complete all life goals involving self-harm in the bucket list. All right. So there's a bunch of goals, and some of them are themed self-harm. There's another one for complete all challenges, life goals in the bucket list. And the English is a little choppy on these. I'm pretty sure that whoever wrote the achievement list, English was not their first language.
Okay.
But, and then there's one, complete all life goals that involve hazards in the bucket list. So you got to get the idea. So there's several of those. That's the bulk of the achievements, and then you get an overall achievement for completing all the goals and all the lists. Now, it's a little confusing at times which one. So you can open the menu and you can see a list of all the things that you're supposed to do, and sometimes it gets a little confusing. Like, is that a hazard? Is that self-harm? Because a lot of it's just ridiculous stuff, and so you're not really 100% sure. But that's okay. You can always look that up. But still, they could have done a better job where if you opened up the bucket list, since the achievements are based off this, where you could sort it by type. Okay. Like by self-harm, something like that.
That sounds
now,
useful.
They are sorted. Yeah, they are sorted, but they're sorted by region. So there's like, you're like in a big city, so there's like a Chinatown area. There's a, whatever area. There's like different sections of town, and so, like a fish or a bay area and all this other stuff. But anyway, it's like there's different areas, and they have it sorted by that. But you can't overall open up all the hazards like on one list of that type, and that would have been nice. And then you could even color code it by the region that you can find it in, so that would even be better, where you're like, oh, on this list I have this to do, oh, it's in that section of town, and then you can go there and do it real quick. So there's a lot going on in this game. It's a very large, I felt it was somewhat large for a little crap game like this, a pretty large area to explore, and it's a little help from them would go a long way. So another thing is, like, on those goals, those achievements aren't trackable. So for example, if you complete like 10 out of 20 self-harm on the bucket list, like, you're not even really sure if you accomplished that. It doesn't track at all. So it should be showing like 50%. And what gets me is that the death ones are. So why is it that so if you can kill yourself all the way up to 99% to preload it if you want, or whatever, and it tracks accurately, but the ones that have the most to do with actually what you're trying to accomplish in the game don't track, which I didn't understand. It seems like they would have added that to all of them because it's all very trackable. But yeah, so that's kind of the nuts and the bolts of it. But here's what I really didn't like about it, which is, man, this game has a lot to offer, and it's just kind of buried. It's like an extra level of burying what would be an enjoyable achievement list. They bury it into these big lists, and there'd be some really fun achievements that you could get. It'd be kind of funny to have, an achievement like this, because I like a weird achievement, right?
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah, you like the weird achievements, and they could have done so many in this game. So I'm going to give you a couple examples.
Okay.
So on each of the lists, they have it divided up by section, and a lot of them, they even have fun little names for them, like where you have to kind of figure out what you're supposed to do, and they have already named them. So it's basically a list of achievements that you could get, except for it's buried under an extra level, which is the bucket list, goals involving blank. So they could have just took it out of that list and put it directly into an achievement, and it had like 60 achievements or something, and a lot of them would have been really enjoyable. But instead, it's buried under the list thing, and I don't know. It just a missed opportunity. So here's a couple of them, and just not in any order. Just a couple I glanced at that I thought would be good achievements. So there's an achievement called, well, there is not an achievement, but there should be. But there's a thing on the list called "Not the Bees," right? So
Wicker Man.
if you're a fan of Wicker Man and Nicolas Cage, they could have done something with that, and like it had like on the achievement art had a little side profile of Nicolas Cage or something. So they could have had fun with it, right? And Not the Bees, right? And so that would have been a wonderful achievement. All right. But of course it's buried on, I don't know which list that's on, but basically you're kicking a swarm of bees and they attack you. So I guess that's self-harm. I don't know. Is that a hazard? I don't know. But I don't even know which list that falls under. But, okay, so there's another one. On the game, it's called Karaoke Master / Birthday Suit. Now, they didn't do a great job of naming that one, but I came up with a wonderful name for it. But basically what it involves is you singing karaoke naked. So you gotta like go fall down in the shower or something, get your clothes ripped off, and then you gotta go on stage and sing karaoke. I mean, that's the kind of game this is. And so they could have called this one, I'm pretty proud of this one. You ready for it?
Okay.
Naked and a Freddie Mercury.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. See? I mean, come on. Curve, hire me. I got you on the achievement list. I got you. But so there's that one. Another one is called, I mean, I don't have a problem with the name for this one. Maybe you can come up with something clever, but Headless Horseman, just in general. But the achievement is for, or would be, the goal on the list. I keep calling it achievement, but there should be an achievement, but they didn't make them into achievements. But You hold your head, so you cut your head off and you hold it, and then you go grab a hobby horse out of like a toy store, and then you walk around on this hobby horse holding your head. I mean, it's just weird crap like that. And like, come on. And there's even a whole series of puzzles in the game called pelvis puzzles. How can you not have fun with that?
Oh, that's just right for funny.
I know. And there's so many things like that in this game, and they just buried it. Like they track it because obviously you do it and it marks it off the list. Why not just eliminate the middleman and just go straight to an achievement? That's basically what my gripe is here. I hope I'm making that clear. I don't have a problem with the game, and I love the stuff that you do in the game. It's just, man, the achievement list just let this game down. They could have done so great things with it. But, and then, of course, my favorite is that there's killer crabs everywhere, like in these little crates, like humongous sized crabs. And they could benefit from a crab battle, crab battle achievement, or you could have
crab people.
Right, there's so much you can do with it, or get an achievement if you die by a bad case of crabs.
Oh, that's good.
Or something. I mean, come on, you had so much material. Come on, Curve, what is wrong with you? But so. Anyhow, that's basically it. I could rail on this for a while, but that's basically it. Is they had these things in place that were tracked as obvious by the game, checking it off once you do it. Just eliminate the middleman, make it an achievement, make it just an enjoyable little game with a bunch of weird achievements, and it would have, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. And then I did want to offer one last thing for those of you who have started this game and just gave up on it because it's, kind of not the best, but if you gave up on it, there's this one achievement for making a basketball goal 10 times in a row, 10 shots in a row. Why this is just a random achievement, I don't know. There were so many other better things you could have done, but they just really like basketball, I guess. But anyway, with the mechanics of this game, it's kind of one of those where the mechanics are crap, like you can't really control them the best. It's not as bad as like Octodad or anything like that, but it's kind of, there's a challenge there. So shooting 10 shots in a row and making them all go in is not an easy task. And so there's a lot of stuff, it was very high ratio, and the guide's just like, oh man, and it was terrible. So I was going to quote some of the lines out of it because I remember reading it a long time ago and it was really funny. But I wanted to point this out to people because there's a new solution that was posted in August this past year. I hadn't checked on it since then, but it's an amazing solution. You gotta check it out. It's basically using a anti-gravity gun and a forklift, and you just basically have the ball go through the net 10 times without it, ever really touching your hands. It's amazing. So if you are stuck on that one and you have this game already on your tag, go check that out, and it'll probably save you a lot of your sanity. So all in all, not the worst offender as achievements go, but just missed opportunity to have some enjoyable, memorable achieves. So I would say just try already. There you go. That's all we're asking.
So I'm imagining this game in my head because I haven't ever even seen it. Are these kind of like globulous people, kind of like in Human Fall Flat? Or...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, they're a little more defined. You get choose between about 4 old keezers. There's like an old man and a wife beater. Of course, that's the one I went with because of our shared fashion. But there's, I think, I don't even know what the other ones are because I just used that guy the whole time. But I know there's like an old lady, and I forget. There's either 3 or 4 of them. But you can choose from, and I think you can. It's kind of like any of those games, like Wobbly Life or any of those type games where you can customize your character and cosmetic stuff, add funny hats and stuff like that. But the character itself, there's like 3 presets, and they look like people. They're not like
okay,
completely indistinguishable.
Gotcha.
So they just look like old people.
Okay, yeah, and I've been looking at the list while you've been talking about it, and it looks like a few of these really generic goal lists that you were talking about don't even have any guides, so that doesn't help.
Oh, I know. The information's I had. You can find one on Steam Community, I think, that explains how to get all of them, because a lot of them you're not gonna have any idea how to get them. It just has like stuff like not the bees. I mean, you're like, oh, okay, I guess I gotta find some bees and do something with it, right? It's kind of that type thing where you're not 100% sure. They don't really come right out and tell you what to do with a lot of them. You just kind of have to figure it out. And there's like one Circle of Fire where you have to catch a ring on fire and then run back to a bike and shoot off a ramp and go through it. I mean, I had to look that one up. I didn't know. Ring of Fire, that could be anything, right? So, there's several of them like that. It came from Mexico. You're like, I have no idea what. It's like you have to light this big old firework on the back of this building or something. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that where you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah, just some more description would be helpful.
Yeah. So maybe someone will write a guide for it. I don't know, but there's I guess you could just post a link to the Steam community. I think it's pretty much already done, but I just haven't gone through and done much with it. So I was trying to decide if I wanted to actually preload the goal list or not, or just preload the deaths and the limbs and call it a day. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like it's got some good TA. So if you wanted to preload it could be good for G-Task.
Exactly. So I think all I'm going to do is go find a forklift and a gravity gun and at least set that up and then kill myself a bunch of times and cut off a bunch of limbs and then probably just stop there. I don't know if it's worth all the other effort, but yeah.
So what you're saying is that when you're done, you're going to write the walkthrough, right?
Oh, yeah. I got you. I'll just be like, do better. Don't die.
I don't know if you've ever watched Red versus Blue, but that was the Red team's issue with their orders from command. They're like, or maybe it was Blue team, but they got their orders, and the orders are like, try to do better than you are currently doing. Don't die.
Nice.
It's like, gee, thanks, command.
I like it. So I don't know. Hopefully I didn't persuade you from playing this game, but it's an enjoyable game. But if you're gonna pick up a game like this, I would recommend Guts and Glory. That one's that's really enjoyable.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that one either, but I will take that in consideration if I ever do consider it.
There you go. So there you go. What do you got for us?
All right.
Let's wash this down with a good game. What we got?
So to I guess palate cleanse. Because that's what I definitely needed after playing my bad list, which we'll get to a little later. Yeah. But I went through and found a game that is a excellent top-tier game, as well as what I think is a good list of achievements. And that is Portal 2.
All right.
So, and it looks like a lot of people have played it, which makes me happy because I love puzzle games. And this was like one of the first first-person 3D physics puzzlers that I think kind of really started that genre, I would say. Well, the original Portal, of course, that is. And this one is one of my favorite puzzle games. Well, the original Portal was fantastic, and then when they really fleshed it out in Portal 2, one of my favorite puzzle games ever. And I'm happy to see that a lot of people have played it. But there's only about half of the list have actually completed it. So... Been a while since I actually played the campaign, but it is on my list of games to go back and play again just for the fun of it because, like I said, it's a very fun game. Assuming you like puzzlers.
I've never played Portal. I've never played Portal 2. That's another one of the series I just totally missed. So,
well, if you didn't want a huge time commitment, but you wanted to try it out, you could try the original Portal because it's pretty short. If you know what you're doing, you can probably beat it in about an hour. Portal 2, they really fleshed it out, and the story is probably about 15 hours, I'd say.
Oh, wow.
And they really give some great characters, some really great voice actors. You got Stephen Merchant is in Portal 2 is the voice of Wheatley, who's a pretty big name person. He does a great job. And GLaDOS is arguably one of the most lovable antagonists in video game history. But I want to go back and play through the story.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I don't know who GLaDOS is. I'm sorry.
My goodness! So that's the robot in. She controls the Aperture Science Lab, which is where the game takes place. And in the first game, she's trying to kill you the whole time. So you have a lot of
the cake. The cake is a lie. Is that her thing?
Well, let's see. Did she say that?
I have no idea. That's all I know about cake or about Portal is the cake thing.
Yes, so the cake is a lie did come from Portal, but you play as Shell, although the character's name is never actually mentioned. So I don't really know where that came from. I assume that came from the developers. But you play a mute protagonist. You never speak, but GLaDOS does all the talking, and she's just very well written in both games and really funny in her sarcasm.
I'm seeing the name written there in one of the achievements. I pulled it up, and the way it's spelled implies that there might be a throwback to DOS. Is there any DOS? Okay, cool.
Well, there's no reference to DOS or anything in the game, but yes, her GLaDOS is DOS, and it's usually capitalized like MS-DOS from back in the day.
Yeah. Good. So, wonderful software, that DOS. I like DOS.
Yeah, I remember playing around with that a lot when I was a kid, trying to figure out what commands I could do and hopefully not screw things up.
Yeah.
So
format SQL,
yeah. So the game has got a great split. It's got 50 achievements, and it's almost an even split between the single player and the co-op campaign, which was added in the second one. The first one was just the single player. So it's 27 achievements in the story and 23 in the co-op. So it has a really good balance of both. And one thing that is always makes an achievement list better is no missables. Since you can go back and replay any chapter at any time. My biggest issue with the game is that there's not a third one because Valve doesn't know how to count to the number 3. Half-Life 1 and 2, Team Fortress 1 and 2, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, Portal 1 and 2. I think there might be another couple, but yeah, they don't know how to count to the number 3.
Wow, I never connected the dots there.
Yeah,
I mean, with Left 4 Dead 2, I mean they got a 4 and a 2 there. I mean,
yeah,
that's crazy.
And so if you didn't know, Portal is a actual spin-off from Half-Life. The Aperture Science actually gets mentioned in some background lore in one of the Half-Life games where you play as Gordon Freeman and you work for Black Mesa. And Aperture is a competing science company. So that's where the origins of Portal came from. Valve has, I'd say, some great humor behind it. Like I said, the characters are really well written. They've got a lot of humor and sarcasm. And they've got some really great Easter eggs and funny names for some of the achievements, like Schrodinger's Catch, you got Smash TV, Turret Dactyl.
I saw that one. I was going to ask you about that one.
Yeah, so the turrets are also the turrets speak, and they just say little one-liners here and there, but they're pretty funny because they're in a very meek, feminine voice. They are programmed to kill you, but they really don't want to. So sometimes you can be on the other side of glass, so they can shoot at you, but they can't actually hit you, and they're talking to you the whole time, I'm sorry, I don't hate you, stuff like that. So it's pretty funny.
Do they have higher pitched voices than Claptrap?
No, not higher pitch.
Okay, I just wanted to keep it straight in my high pitched robot voice.
Yeah, no, they're pretty. Because I know Claptrap can be very polarizing for some people, and he can be. I know a lot of people think that he's very annoying. I think he's pretty funny, but I can see where people think he's annoying.
No. Well, okay, yeah. Well, I think that's the design of the character, is that he's supposed to be, and that's why you like him, is because he, does a good job at what he's supposed to do, which is, kind of be annoying and, I don't know. I like Claptrap.
Yeah, I do too.
Leave Claptrap alone. They got to back off Claptrap.
So, and then a couple of other good names like Stranger Than Friction, because it's a physics-based puzzler. You got Sabot Tour and Friends List with Benefits. So
nice. Okay, so as you're telling me all these, I have to say, I just saw Rock Portal Scissors. That's pretty good.
That's one I was going to bring up a little later once I get to the co-op part.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I'll scratch that then. Okay. But the one thing that I really do like about this, knowing nothing about the game, knowing nothing, just from purely looking at the page for it, I love the achievement art for this game. This is some fantastic achievement art. I'm a sucker for achievement art.
It's a lost art, definitely. There's
it is.
Games that have like just the same image over and over and over.
It's or they're so dark and murky you can't even tell what it is. But this is highly contrasted, and each one of them shows you pretty much what you have to do to get the achievement. Like that pterodactyl one shows a turret bouncing off of a bumper thing.
A launch plate. Or aerial faith plate. Sorry, that's the technical term.
Oh, okay. See, but like in a lot of them, and then they get down here and they got like these little robots doing all kinds of stuff, like the Triple Crown. They got two of them racing against each other, and then the Friends List with Benefits has them kind of hugging. And there's like a heart. It's good. It's a good achievement art. If you like achievement art, go check this game out.
And in the vein of the achievement art, it plays in because in the game, when you go into each chamber, there's a little like plaque on the wall that basically has a bunch of little squares of like what aspects you need to, or what techniques you might need to solve this chamber. And so the ones that that apply to that chamber are like dark, and then you still see all the other ones, but they're grayed out. So I don't need to worry about thinking about this concept or this technique. I just need to worry about this, but you still got to put it together to figure out how to solve the chamber. But there's each of those images, the art style on the achievement art is the same style as what it is on those plaques in the game.
Oh, that's really good. I like that. I like that they, recognize that, or it was purposeful, I should say.
Yeah. So
that's good. I like that.
So yeah, it's great seeing good achievement art, because so many games just have like the same image over and over, or just like put zero effort into it, which makes sense because a lot of people. I mean, how many people even really pay attention to the achievement art? But when it's there, it's just like that added gusto,
Yeah, absolutely. I agree completely.
So for the campaign, there's pretty much achievements. This standard list of achievements for completing. I don't know if there's one for each chapter, but there's achievements for just going through and completing completing the story, achievements along the way. So those are pretty standard fare. But in addition to that, there's some really interesting achievements that kind of make you go out of your way and lead you to some interesting things that you probably wouldn't find if you weren't looking for the achievements. Or some really funny or interesting character dialogue that you wouldn't come across unless you were looking for the achievement. So they wrote these things into the game that you probably wouldn't even know you were there unless you were an achievement hunter. There's an achievement called You Made Your Point, where you have to refuse to solve a chamber solution because you've got Wheatley, who's takes over for GLaDOS, who was the one who was running the facility in the first game. Now it's Wheatley's turn. And he's very antagonistic towards you, and he's trying to like encourage you to continue through the chamber, and you just sit there and don't do anything, and he continues to get more and more agitated and berate you and call you names and be like, this is such an easy one, why aren't you solving this? So obviously I don't know it all off the top of my head, but it leads to some funny dialogue. And then another one that's very similar to that is a little later, where he tries to kill you, but you avoid the death, and then normally you would continue on your way. But if you turn around and he's like, no, wait, please come back, and then you come back, and he's like, oh, I didn't expect you to come back here. He's like, hey, so you see that pit that you just escaped? Why don't you jump down there? he doesn't need you at that point, and so he's trying to convince you to kill yourself. So he goes on. You could just stand there and listen to him talk for a few minutes, and it's really funny because he says to try to entice you to jump into the pit. He's like, "Hey, you know what's down there? That's your parents. I mean, it's your adoptive parents, but still, it's your parents. And there's an escape hatch down there, and a shiny new jumpsuit, and a bunch of hunky guys that they're really not particular. You know, you might find some fun down there. There's just some really great dialogue written into the game."
Is there one for sitting there and listening to every single dialogue option? Because I like games that do that, where they purposely add in a bunch of junk dialogue and then you get an achievement for actually sitting there listening to it all.
No, there's not an achievement for all the dialogue, but for, at least as far as I know, pretty much all of the hidden dialogue sections like that do have achievements tied to them. So you should pretty much experience everything if you go along with the achievement list.
Cool.
And so the achievement is for then jumping into the pit and killing yourself. And then he's like, "Oh, I didn't think that was actually going to work." So funny stuff like that. On to the co-op part. It's an entirely separate campaign, so it's not like you're playing through the same stuff again, because this time it's actually made for 2 people, and you each have your own portal gun. So instead of working with 2 portals, you're working with 4 portals. And if you're not familiar with the franchise yet, things can get really mentally confusing when you're trying to figure out what portals go where. So the achievements do a great job of having a mix of funny, interactable achievements with your co-op partner, good achievements for working well together, testing your teamwork, stuff like that. So you play as 2 silent robots, but even without them actually ever even speaking, they still have a lot of character in them. You just like fall in love with these adorable little robots. And as you saw on the achievement list, you have ones for like the friends list with benefits. That's for encouraging you to play with more than just one person. You actually have to do the hug animation with I think it's 3 separate people on your friends list. In addition to having some fun interactions with your co-op partner, there's also some ones for a lot of the times you're putting each other's lives in each other's hands, where they could kill you at any moment. And there are some achievements tied to that, which cause some really funny hijinks. Like sometimes you have to create portals between different places that create a light bridge because your friend needs to get to the other end, and then they need to use their portals to finish the puzzle. But if you want, you can move your portal while they're on that light bridge. Therefore, it disappears and they fall to their death. So you can really screw with each other and have a lot of fun, and there's some achievements tied to exactly that.
Well, for me, I was because I was not familiar with the word narbacular, I guess. I always like to look up to see what it actually means and see how it ties to it.
Okay, yeah, and I don't know. So
what I found
what'd you find?
is that narbacular, I don't know how to say it, narbacular drop. Apparently that was the precursor to Portal. It was a game. It was a free game released on the PC in 2005, and then the people that worked on it were eventually hired, and then they did Portal. So it was like the spiritual successor. Is that the right?
Yeah, predecessor,
yes.
To
Portal. Yeah, so I thought that was kind of an interesting little... yeah, there you go. So I just thought I'd point that one out. I didn't know any of that, so there you go. I just thought it was a fancy word I should probably learn.
Yeah, I thought that was a made-up word, so I learned something new as well. So
I think pterodactyl is probably a made-up word.
Yeah, I think that one's pretty made up, but it fits well. So, but yeah, you got some achievements for doing some fun stuff like screwing with your teammate, but you got some great achievements for encouraging some excellent cooperative teamwork, like entering, not just passing through, but entering all 4 different portals without touching the ground. You got achievement for completing three chambers in under 60 seconds, so you got to work together really fast on that one. Achievement for completing specific chambers using only a set number of portals, so you really got to think outside the box. Of course, you can look up the achievement guides, but that really ruins a lot of the fun of a puzzle game.
What?
Yeah, I know.
But if they're there, you have to use them. I mean, that's achievement hunting.
Achievement hunting 101.
Rules of contact. Yeah, you got to. If there's a guide, you got to use it.
Guides.
You can't just. Yeah, you just can't. You can't. Especially puzzle games, man. You can't. Who has time for that?
Yeah.
She's the guy. Don't be a hero.
An achievement for completing specific chamber without losing any cubes. So that one can be really tricky. And the highest ratio achievement in the game is for completing a specific chapter, which I think is like 8. Because in the co-op, how it works is that there's 5 different course. That's what it is. So there's 5 courses, and each course is made up of about 6 to 9 different chambers. And one of the achievements is for completing one of those courses, all 8 or 9, however many chambers there are in it, without either you or your co-op partner dying. That one takes a lot of coordination. And that is the one that the most people are missing. I was looking through my friends list last night, and there are a few people where that is like their only achievement left. So if you want to work on that, I love this game, so I have no problem going through and playing it again. I just played through it again probably about a year ago with one of my other buddies who hadn't played co-op and helped him through it, and it's just so much fun. So I'd be happy to help if that's your last achievement, because that one can be tricky. But yeah, so there is, I don't know how you feel about these, but there is one viral achievement, which I think is really well implemented.
Except for when you need something like that for G-test purposes, but yeah. That used to be like one of the,
Fortunately, it's not like for beating like one of the developers of the game or anything. Those ones can be really bad although if it's beat the developer or someone who has, that's usually a little more doable, especially if you wait a long time, then pretty much everyone has it. The viral one encourages you to pay it forward. So once you've completed the co-op campaign, this achievement is for going and playing with someone else who's never played the co-op campaign before and helping them through the first course of levels. So,
that's kind of clever.
Yeah,
I like that. That's not bad.
So
that's doable.
Yeah. And then the achievement that you mentioned before, Rock Portal Scissors, that one it's not too bad, but it's probably a lot of people's most annoying achievement because it is 100% RNG. Those are 3 things everyone loves hearing. RNG, right?
All right. Okay, so I have to ask, is it better or worse than the one in freaking Walking Dead? Whatever.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I just did that one like a month or 2 ago.
Right.
It is much, much better than that one because in that one...
You don't have to sit through a long cutscene.
Exactly. In the Walking Dead one, if you miss it, you got to play through the whole 5-minute scene again to get back to it.
Yeah.
No, in this one...
the nice run through the woods there.
Yep. So, no, in this one, you do what it is you have to win a game of rock, paper, scissors 3 times in a row. But the reason why it's RNG is you have 0 control of what you throw, rock, paper, scissors. You and your partner just initiate the rock, paper, scissors animation, and you have to sit there and watch it play out and hope that you get 3 in a row. And then, take turns so you and your co-op partner both get it. So you basically have to get 3 in a row twice. Fortunately, it only takes 5 seconds each time. You can just keep doing it over and over. So it's pretty quick. When I did it with my buddy that I played through the co-op campaign with like about a year ago, I think it didn't take us more than 5 minutes. So it's not too bad, but just given that it is 100% RNG is a little annoying.
So if you tie, does that ruin the streak? So if you both throw a rock? Because if so, that would make it a lot worse, obviously.
I don't remember how it handles a tie.
If you're doing straight win-loss, then it looks like it's about 13% chance because you got one
in 3 in a row. Like 1
50,
and 3
50,
times 1 and 3
10.
times 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. I want to say that ties don't count against you, but don't quote me on that.
Okay, because that would make the percentage significantly lower than 13% if it does.
You know what? I just pulled up the achievement list, and I was right. The guide here says that pulling a draw does not ruin the streak.
Okay, good. That's good.
So makes it even a little bit better. So, if you haven't played Portal or I would say Portal 2, but if you haven't played Portal 1, I'd say go play that first, and you can get a feel for how you like it because. Excellent game. I can't say enough good things about it. Love this game. Happy to help anyone who wants to do the co-op or only has 1 or 2 co-op achievements left. Let me know, and we can figure something out because I just love seeing more people play this game.
Awesome. Well, you probably won't see me play it, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. That's, but no, it's a good list. I like it. A lot to it, and achievement art top notch. You got the the interesting little things you can do. I mean, yeah, it's a full list. I like it. It's an excellent choice by you.
Yeah, and definitely one of the best things that makes an excellent achievement list is achievements that really lead you to experience everything the game has to offer, and this list does a great job of doing that.
There you go. All right. Well, Neil, I appreciate you joining me today. And you got anything you need to plug or anything?
No, not at this time. I'm hoping, because I've been wanting to do this for years. I've been wanting to start my a YouTube channel where I just talk about fun video game topics, but nice. I haven't been able to just because of time. I'm hoping that might change this year, so we'll see. I'll let you guys know if that happens, then you can come check me out.
Awesome. All right. Well, to everyone listening, we appreciate you listening, and if you have any thoughts about our picks, just let us know in the Discord, and you can make fun of us or tell us how spot on we were. So thanks for listening. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. This has been a lot of fun.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
And welcome to NeverEnding Stories, a new segment that ties into a contest that I am running exclusively for patrons of the podcast, in which I ask them to go back to the very, very back of their backest beyond backlogs and pull out some of these games that they never actually finished the stories for, the campaigns. And I say, well, why don't you go ahead and do that? It's been like 10 years already. So many of our contests focus on full completions or just pure score that I feel like sometimes we just forget that sometimes games are just about a good old story. And so I want to encourage people to go back and finish those off. And then I'm inviting anyone who does so to join me on a short podcast segment to talk about their experience. Joining me in our inaugural NeverEnding Story is Mr. Vulgar Latin.
Oh, just call me Vulgar Latin. Mr. Vulgar Latin was my father.
Well, from now on, you shall be Mr. Vulgar Latin.
Okay.
How's it going, sir?
It's good. Funny you should mention 10 years. No, mine was 15.
15 years.
And funny you should mention story, because this doesn't have one.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about story in the loosest possible sense here. Not everything has a particularly in-depth story, but I'm talking about campaign mode, basically. If anything has kind of a solid campaign, some of them will be more narrative and some of them will not. But pretty much things that are just kind of puzzle games and the like are mostly excluded.
Mostly.
Mostly, yeah. I mean, there are exceptions, and I'm not claiming to be accurate. So, Vulgar, what was the game you decided that you would end, finally, the story of?
Yeah, it was the first one on the list. Doom. For the Xbox 360 arcade, which I have to specify because Doom is annoying in that there's a lot of releases on Xbox.
Called Doom. Variations of Doom. I mean, basically, every game is like Doom, so why not just play Doom?
Yeah, go back to the source. And it's one of the first arcade games that I remember buying because it was reasonably priced at the time, and it's an out-and-out classic, and the achievement for beating it is just for completing episode 4.
So you, as you said, you alluded to, you started this game back in 2008, 20th of May 2008 to be specific. And as you say, there are 4 episodes in the game. And back in 2008, when you were a young sprightly lad,
you powered your way through the first 3 episodes of 4 in the space of a week. So, you know, you were shooting demons, collecting keys.
Ripping and tearing, yep.
Yeah, and then you, for whatever reason, stopped.
Yes.
And you did come back to the game in 2010 because the game, as so many arcade games, had a multiplayer aspect, and you knocked out the Xbox Live stuff to 2010. But you never thought, you know what, I might just knock out this final story achievement while I'm at it. No, that came 13 years later in January of this year, thanks to this little contest. So, what happened? Why did you never do it?
I got lost. That's it. So for those of you that don't know, and there's a couple other reasons that debatably good. So for those of you that don't know, that when Doom first released, the first release was just the first 3 episodes, and I beat those. I beat the Spider Mastermind, which should, in my opinion, be the end of the story. Later, a couple years later, they released Ultimate Doom, which added 8 more levels as episode 4, and it has nothing new. There's no new enemies, and they're just big challenge levels that are kind of hard and obtuse on purpose. Deliberately hard and obtuse levels.
So episode 4 is actually kind of an expansion pack.
Yes. It's absolutely an expansion.
What you're telling me is I shouldn't have even included this as an uncompleted story.
It's I would say that it wasn't even like I beat the story because they make a reference to like now next up Hell on Earth, like it leads up directly into Doom 2. But that was it. I back in the day when I was playing, I did not have a computer or smartphone nearby because 2008 you wouldn't have had a smartphone unless you were exceptionally wealthy or a Apple mark, and I didn't have that. I didn't get a smartphone until way later, so I couldn't just look up where to go. And so when you get lost, and some of the levels in there are, like I said, really obtuse. I was like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go next. And I got frustrated, and I was like, not really interested. But now, once I came back to it, I was able to just like, oh, okay, here's the level I got lost. Let's look up where I'm supposed to go. Oh, hey, look at that. There we go. And done. And I could pull up a YouTube video. Yep. And it was nice because I could pull up exactly what episode I needed to go to. So I didn't even have to redo anything. I could just go, yep, okay, this episode, let's go. And then you could save scum your way through the whole thing. All told, it took me like 2 hours. I just neglect, really. That got me a lot of new shiny things.
Now, obviously, Doom is pretty famous, and as you say, it's not known for its strong storyline. But did you feel like it was worth it to go back and see it to the end? Or do you think you could have probably been happy just leaving it as it was? Was it a satisfying ending?
No, because you fight another Spider Mastermind and he dies, and you get single screen of text.
Wait. Spoiler alert! You fight the hordes of hell and you win.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, all the way. For those of you you spoiled my 1995 game. This game's literally older than some of our listener base.
Okay, so I mean, you've gone from having 10 achievements in the game back in 2010 when you last put it down. Now you have 11 achievements. Obviously, it's an arcade game, so there's not much. there's slim pickings. But you've now left the game with 11 out of 12 achievements, 165 out of 200 gamer score. That final achievement is for completing all the levels on ultra-violent mode. Now, do you have any intention to go back and replay the whole thing on the hardest difficulty?
No, mostly because there's another version. I have them. It's Doom 1993, and I have that, and I think it has a similar kind of thing. And I think it's just, I just would probably rather do that. There's stuff in there, more points. I do like Doom. I like the game quite a bit. It's just I didn't like those particular set of levels. Was the main thing. Like the first 3 episodes, the original Doom I liked, but I didn't like the 4th episode. So beating the game on a harder difficulty and probably just save scumming for several hours just doesn't excite me in the same way that it would have back in the day.
I'm just checking your series completion here, and you do have a lot of the games done. Did you ever finish the arcade version of 2?
No, I'm missing 2 achievements, but I did beat the story. I think you have to beat that game in ultraviolent as well, and then I could never get the kill a cyber demon with just your bare hands. Could never get that one to work, because you have to, like, time it out. I could probably
I did that one. I managed that one, so I think you can probably do it.
I could.
I think there's a way of doing it.
Younger me as an achievement hunter was very lazy and would just like, I mean, I could do this or I could just go play something else, and that's what I do.
Well, congratulations for ending the story finally. Do you have any aspirations to do any of the other ones on your list? Now, I know that we've been... So, for anyone who doesn't know, anyone who's not a patron, what I do is I give you 10 of the 10 oldest games on your list where you haven't completed the story. But I'm very generous, and if you don't have access to the game, you don't have the 360 anymore, or the Kinect, or the discs that you would need, I'm allowing you to just skip those because, you just can't play it. But I am giving you 4 additional skips if you just don't want to play it.
Yes,
you
and
say,
I've used
I don't
one,
want to do that. It's
I
not
think.
happening. Yeah, you've used one on Alien Hominid, but you've been free skipping because, as you've mentioned lots of times, you were a GameFly addict.
Yep, I've lived
serial renter.
I lived 3 blocks away from a Blockbuster. Back in the day, you could go to a place and they'd just rent you video games for money. And so I would just do that. If I can track it down and it's backwards compatible, though, I've been leaving it just because that's more... Well, yeah, it's just less of a pain. But I do want to do more. I started Bad Company 2 because back when I originally tried to do Bad Company 2, I rented it and didn't like it, and I tried to do it all on hard and tried to do everything all at once, and I think that was a mistake. So that's one of my next big targets. Yeah, a lot of 2008 in there. I've rented a lot of things in 2008.
Yeah, 2008, 2009, basically between February and May 2009, there were just lots and lots of games that you kind of tried, I think, and went,
yeah. Yeah, it was a much happier time, if we're honest with each other.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Doom, there's not much to say on the story, so we're not going to go too far into that one.
I mean, it's Doom.
It is Doom. But thank you for joining me and chatting about your experience. Thank you for completing the story on Doom, and looking forward to speaking to you on any of your other NeverEnding stories.
Oh, yeah, no, thanks for having me. Bye.